What's up, everybody? It's Dave Fernape here with another NPL interview. Today, I'm here with the head coach of the Phoenix Sunkern.
Hey guys, it's Cheeseboy628 here.
So, how's it going, man?
Good man, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you for asking. So, I want to get right into it. Why did you pick Mega Medicham as your Mega Pokemon?
Yes, absolutely. The infamous Mega Medicham, I feel like is starting to become more of a staple to my team at this point. The infamous Wombo Combo, as it may be called. And for those who don't know why it's called Wombo Combo, I guess you'll find out as the series continues here in the season. But yeah, like I've used this mod for quite a while. It's always given me success. It's got a nice move pool. It's a great wall breaker. I know people like to try countering it as much as possible because they know it's like a main threat. And if you don't have much for it, it's definitely going to like decimate a lot of mons. So there's a good couple of sets I've tried using in the past, and just knowing this mon pretty well now from my experience with it, I felt why not try it again?
And looking at the rest of your team, it's like you basically have an OU team. I mean, you have Latios, Ferrothorn, Manaphy, Thundurus, Bisharp, Gothitelle. I'm tempted to just put that into Pokemon Showdown and just ladder up to it.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely stoked about my team from all the way from my first pick through Gothitelle. I thought those alone were already like really solid picks. I was super happy about that. My first pick, other than my Mega, was Latios. I felt, it's definitely one of the top OU mons in the first place. There's a good couple of sets I can use with that. Dragon plus a defogger right then and there. Like it's definitely something that you have to worry about if you don't have it yourself. And as for the rest of my team, I mean, Manaphy, it's been said by Pokame himself that it's just such a good mon in this kind of style because it gets so many different moves, and Tailglow's just able to obliterate most things. And Ferrothorn's nice for hazards, definitely a really good hazard setter, especially in conjunction with Latios. And then, yeah, I was very surprised that Thunder has stayed around that long, but man, it is such a good mon that I somehow was able to capture. B Sharp is B Sharp. I mean, I'm going to be facing some Intimidators. I'm going to face some Defoggers. It's definitely going to be notable. And Goth, it's going to be an awesome trapper. Definitely stoked about that. I know it's like, it almost seems too good to be true and almost like a little bit trolly. I'm really stoked. As for the rest of my team, like, I'm definitely like feeling okay with the rest of my mon choices. And there's something I'll address later with who I'm more stoked about facing this like competition. But yeah, for the rest of my mons, like I'm not mad or like I'm definitely confident with what I chose. Maybe I could have had some better choices. Like Togekiss, I don't have a ton of experience with, but I know it's like a good mon, and like the rest of my mons are definitely good. Of Gligger, P2, and Scolipede. Scolipede's really fun to use. And then Gligger and P2 alone make a really cool defensive core. And I think that's what I was more focused on at the end. So yeah, that's basically the analysis of my team.
Yeah, your mic is kind of cutting out a little bit, but it's okay. I'm sure everybody can hear you just fine. Your team has a lot of OU cores that are offensive and defensive. It also has a lot of cores that are used in UU that are very good. So talk about that.
Yeah. So UU is definitely something in this style I coincidentally have a decent amount of experience with because of last season. My team was basically a UU team with like Mega Metacham being a BL mod. So I definitely started to learn the kinks and works of the UU struggle, how it's definitely more associated with being offensive. I was able to capture that offensive prowess while also looking at my team and being like, whoa, I need some defensive stuff. I've got Pharaoh, I've got P2, I've got Gligger. So with those in mind, yeah, I've starting to understand more of how UU alone needs some extra support. Yeah.
Yeah, and basically you got all the positive stuff about UU and you brought it into like a new OU team. So that looks great for you. And I remember one time you made a team. I don't know if you made it, if your friend made it or something, but it had Mega Metacham, Bisharp, and Thundurus as an offensive core. And I used it and I got to like the top. I got to the top 50 with it. It was
Right,
such a
yeah,
good team.
absolutely. And now that you mention it, it does definitely ring a bell there was a friend of mine at the time who was really into that B Sharp Mega Metacham core especially. And Thunderous is just a nice staple to most teams anyway. Like if there's a setup mon, you got T-Wave there and you're pretty much safe. But yeah, especially with Aegislash, B Sharp was just easily one of the most notable mons that you have to keep because it was either that or Landers, and well, Landers is gone now, but then again, Aegislash is too. But B Sharp was just so good for so many reasons, and so that's why that was there, and that's where my love for Mega Metacham really started there too. Just two really strong physical mons that are definitely able to have a nice prowess over the OU metagame.
So you've mentioned the use of Scolipede a lot, and I noticed it on your team. Are you planning on using it for Baton Pass?
Yeah, good question. So it does give at least the question of is does this thing have baton pass? And therefore, do I need something that's going to T-wave it? Do I need something that's going to taunt it? That's going to be something that's very nice to put mind games into the opponent's head. So yeah, I mean, Scolipede has a bunch of different options. It can set up hazards, it can baton pass, and it can really just be an offensive sweeper alone. So with those three things in mind, especially baton pass, people are definitely scared of that. Although that Smogon is more trying to trying to put on the limitations of baton pass with their most recent rule, where I'm only going to be able to pass speed boost. It's still going to be notable when I have some pretty strong mons on my team, even just like passing a Manaphy and getting tail glow off. I think that's probably going to be one of the more special ones. Even Togekiss, actually, now that I think about it, and of course Mega Metacham. So I'm starting to just ramble about different things I could pass it to, and therefore only give more options as to why Baton Pass would be viable on the team. I also really like running offensive though, so definitely going to put some mind games in. So I've used Scolipede already in one of my exhibition matches, and it proved to be pretty nice.
Yeah, all of those Pokemon you can Baton Pass to and basically be really deadly. But because the draft actually happened before Smogon made the rule banning two boosts being baton passed, you can actually use it in the draft league format,
Oh,
especially since it's so easy to counter because you can see the other person's Pokemon.
with that in mind, at least that gives even more mind games, which is absolutely intense. So, yeah, I'm going to have to definitely think about that as definitely an option I may consider, especially when it's going to put mind games into the opponent and, well, possibly just be my solution to sweeping a team.
Yeah, and we all know how good you are at using those mind games to your advantage, so Scolipede is a great asset. And so the next question I want to ask is, what team are you most excited to face? Any player that you have sort of a friendly rivalry with, or you just want to play against them?
Yes. So even during the draft, I was getting especially a mixture of nervous and excited for this matchup. My friend Jolt, who is holding the Toronto Staraptors, has always been a longtime friend and foe, if you will. He has a very powerful team where just a mixture of his team structure, his team knowledge, and the friendship we've developed over our time on learning about the Pokemon metagame is definitely going to make it a notable battle for me. He has some really good mons, and I know like during his draft, he happened to actually have some complications where he while he was picking some mons that were really essential almost to like handling my team, there were people that due to the draft structure with how some people weren't available at the time, they had to repick their mons, and so if someone already picked them, they would have to repick. And that unfortunately happened to Jolt, where he had Talonbird, which happened to be one of the last mons picked. So with that in mind, I was like, why didn't I just pick that? I already had so many flying types though that I felt it wasn't necessary. But when he had that, I was quite nervous. But then he ended up losing it to another team because another team wanted that way earlier in the draft. So nonetheless, he still has really good team structure. He knows how to work things out. I'm definitely scared of some mons that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Like he's got Tarak, and he picked Greninja, interestingly enough, even though Protean isn't going to be a thing. It still has a great move pool, of course. But yeah, he's got Mega Venusaur. Thankfully, I do have Mega Medicham to handle that. But yeah, he definitely has some mons that may struggle with it a little bit, but he has Zam, he has Tornadus. Yeah, he's got some good mons. I'm super stoked to face his team.
Yeah, you versus Jolt is going to be such an exciting match to watch. You have probably the best offensive team, and he has the best defensive team, and it's going to be really exciting to watch. And I can't wait for that. Two great players, and since this year you got a better draft than last year, are you looking at actually winning the championship?
Yeah, not to show any kind of egotism here, but I'm feeling confident. I'm definitely feeling confident with this team. Last season, I definitely did not have the advantage as I basically had to choose from a UU move pool. This time, I was able to select when I could pick my mons. I think I was the second pick for that too. So when I said that I would pick third, I felt that was a really good strat. Not to mention all the mons are right in front of me. I mean, my first five or six alone show like a very strong OU team, like you said, that could basically just be put into OU with various sets and have it already work out for me. And then when you mix it together with facing other teams and just being able to prepare for it, you've got a really nice mix of like strats, just a mixture of pre knowledge of the team and then just, normal skills as you're facing a random OU battle. So, with playing this kind of style for a while now, having a very good team this time, I feel Phoenix Sunkern, the singular Phoenix Sunkern, is going to have a very nice chance at taking it this year.
Yeah, it's going to be super exciting watching you this year. So I know you're a very busy person. Thank you for this time that you gave me. Thank you everybody for watching, and this has been Dave Fernape with another NPL interview.